Hello, this is Chucky, co-founder of Navora Partners, and we're here to help e-com business owners to scale their business with confidence. What we got is a case study on accelerating revenue growth by 435% with an inventory of 30,000 plus SKUs. A couple years ago, I have partnered with automobile or model parts retailer D2C e-com store. And they do sell pretty niche parts down to a specific category only, where it's suspension, springs, things like that. And they do have basically inventory over 30,000 SKUs across 20 brands. The reason why it's so much is because every single car model requires a different fit. So then just even one series or one model under a brand, that part can be divided into millions, or probably not millions, but hundreds of different fitting models for different year and different models and different brands. And they do have an nCAC of $80 and an AOV of $350 and LTV of over 1,000. And when we first started working with the e-com store, the bottleneck, what we found was with 30,000 products, the client faced a basically classic needle in a haystack problem because of the more granularity searches that it requires for the user to find their part. You cannot just fit anything into your own truck. So the first problem that we found is when the client previously put every single item into just one shopping campaign, trying to serve all different things to possibly the wrong thing to the owner of a truck or to a car, it may not match properly because the owner may be owning a 2013 Ford Raptor and they got shown maybe a Corvette or maybe a Dodge Ram, and they get shown different models that are not what they're looking for. That is going to cause impressions and unqualified traffic coming to the store. Second is an ability to prioritize. With the same campaign being the only box of all these products inside there, you're going to have or run into an issue where Google may not be prioritizing the top SKUs that is going to be making you the most amount of money on Google, because they can be buried out of the way at the bottom, because top SKUs are only most likely top 20 or top 10 or top 100. With a 30,000 SKUs, that number is very, very small in terms of percentage compared to all the other offerings that are out there that can weigh out too much on spend, where it's ignoring the main things that are going to make you money. And the last thing is opportunity cost. So for the demand of auto parts, it was growing during the 2022 COVID or 2020 COVID boom, where e-com was booming and then everyone had extra money, and then they start to go to a garage and work on their cars and they wanted a new part, and that's when the growth started to massively exponentially grow in the last few years. And we can see it in the search trend chart here that car suspension and pre-owned car, it is on a rise during that time. So we wanted to make sure that we are covering that demand with campaigns that we're actually able to connect with the vehicle owner for the specific model and SKU they're looking for. At that time, search was not covered, so then they were not really showing the best that they can to all the people that they can serve. So for the solution that we got is we basically move away from the casual approach and started to deploy more strict value-based hierarchy to organize the 30,000 plus SKU catalog. And the first thing first is always to work on the profit first prioritization as the strategy. So bottom up, going for the best-selling brands, best-selling SKUs, and we want to put the best upfront first so that we can cover the ones that are going to create revenue. So then for the brand searches, for the SKU searches, they are going to be covered because we're covering search network for the user when they're looking for the brand. And then the next thing is series level granularity. This makes it very more complicated because of this niche. For the brand, it will go down to the brand term, and they will go down to the series searches, the model searches, and then it will be extremely specific the person will be putting the year, make, model for their vehicle, and then plus the series and models. So we want to make sure that we're optimizing search. The keywords are going to be specifically for the popular year, make, models that are going to be frequently searched. And then we also want to cover that on shopping as well. Last but not least, our waterfall expansion strategy. So taking what I said earlier, the high profit bands first to stabilize, and then we start working upwards. So high volume SKUs, high margin SKUs, and then we just work on the other SKUs that are not going to produce too much movement for the revenue as a last step. So then we're able to cover all of the 30,000 SKUs at a much more strategic way, such that we're going to have a big foundation to create those revenue. So then all these zombie SKUs are not going to be emphasized on by Google. And with this said, we were able to 3x the revenue from Google Ads and 435% total revenue growth in 2 years. And we can see it in this graph here. It is a rocket ship coming from 2020 to 2022 when they were transitioning. So use this case study as a reference. And if you want better help in understanding your metrics and how to scale your brand, fill in the form to get your free growth strategy session with us today. And then we will take a look in your account, and we will not just see if we're a good fit, we'll give you a better understanding of your data. Even though we might not work together, we will give you some logical next moves. So click the form, fill it out, and I'll look forward to see you sometime. Bye now.